Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, and today's video will be doing an unboxing video on Avatar: The Last Airbender, Fire Nation Rising, so let's get into it. Alright, well now that we have the game out, let's jump in and see what's inside. So Avatar: The Last Airbender, Fire Nation Rising is actually a cooperative dice building game that shares similar elements to deck building games, where players will be working together as the different Avatar heroes, trying to put an end to the Fire Nation's attack on the world and to end the 100-Year War. And so you'll play through recruiting different heroes from the Avatar series, growing your team's power, and defeating villains from the Fire Nation, again with the hopes of defeating them and ending the 100-Year War. And so we've got the different tokens here. Looks like a couple of mine maybe fell out in transportation, but that's all good. We've got the different nations and the map that you'll assemble throughout the board. So that's pretty cool. So you can see those here. You've got your different characters that you play as. So again, if you're familiar with the Avatar series, you'll recognize these guys here. So it looks like both sides are the same here. But you've got Katara, Sokka, and Zuko. So again, you'll be playing as these heroes together. And the game is for 1 to 5 players. And each player will typically control one of the heroes. But if you're playing in solo mode, for example, you can start with 2 or more. Now, one thing that's a little bit different with this game is that it has these different balance tracks. And so this will lead to powering up your team as you go throughout the campaign. And the higher you get, the more bonuses you can get if you reach the top. And then there's also a ruin tracker, and this is tracking the Fire Nation as they try and reach the top. And again, if they beat you there, they'll be more powered up in the end of the game. Got a bunch of custom die to play with. So again, these represent the different nations. So you've got the different bending types like water, fire, earth, and then you have the avatar type here with the little arrow. And so each color die will have their own unique advantages and disadvantages. And so you'll roll these and collect these throughout the game to recruit new heroes and deal damage to the villain cards. Got the Fire Nation leader here. This guy will go right in the middle. And so again, depending on which direction it faces, will determine how they attack your teams of heroes. This one's just a bag of damage counters, so I'll leave that closed. Got my missing counters that fell out here, but that's all good. And let's jump into the hero deck. So again, why I say it's a little bit like deck building is that as you build the map, you'll set out different heroes around the board as well as villains, and on your turn you'll roll the die and try and match these corresponding symbols. And so if you match all of the symbols, you'll actually be able to recruit these heroes to your team, which will make you more powerful, give you additional abilities, let you roll extra die, and much more. And so each card will have their health track on the side, indicating how much damage they can take on their turn. And so if you ever have a hero receive the full amount of damage and that's still full by the end of the turn, you'll actually lose that hero and the ability to recruit them. And so kind of how the game works is if you lose so many heroes, like 10 for example, on the normal setting, you would lose the game. And then again, there's also villains here from the different Fire Nation areas. And you'll need to, same type of thing, roll that die symbol and the corresponding amounts to be able to do 1 damage to that villain. So if you fully defeat them, you'll remove them from the game. Now another neat thing that's new to this Fire Nation Rising game is the final battle. And so once you've reached the top of the balance tracker or the ruin tracker, it will start the final battle across the world. And so on each location, you'll have a final battle that you'll need to complete as the heroes if you hope to win the game. And so you'll need to do 2 damage per location. And the way to do that is if there's no villains on that space. And so again, you need to work together as a team cooperatively to defeat the final battles to win the game. Now this version's a little different than the other Rising games I've played. Typically you have a die that you'll roll to determine what direction the villain statue in the middle will turn, and in turn what area they're going to damage across the world, and what teams if they're there. This time you have a deck of cards, and we'll show you either staying in the same spot, how many times the ruin tracker will move up, and then what direction the statue might turn, indicating what area of the world they're going to attack. So again, if these run out, just simply reshuffle them and draw them again throughout the game. So it's kind of similar to rolling the villain die like previous Rising games. Well again, that wraps up this unboxing of Avatar: The Last Airbender Fire Nation Rising. If you want to pick up a copy of this game, there'll be a link in the description below where you can do so. And definitely be sure to stay tuned for a future video when we do a full review on the game once we've had some time to play it. Well again, hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing video on Avatar: The Last Airbender Fire Nation Rising. If you did, be sure to smash that like button as it really helps out the channel. And if you'd like to pick up a copy of this game, there'll be a link in the description below where you can do so. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.